What's up, guys? Grateful to be here today. You're sober. Congratulations. I think today we're going to talk about what's beyond sobriety. So I'm assuming that you're all sober. If you're watching this, if you're not, call your sponsor, call your brother, get honest, all right? So we're going to talk about what's beyond sobriety, all right? I don't believe recovery is all about being sober, being abstinent from drugs and alcohol. We've already achieved that. That's the easy part, okay? You might be shaking your head and saying, well, Bryan, that wasn't that easy, which I agree with, okay? It's the easiest part, though, okay? So how do we stay sober, but more importantly, how do we stay sober with a life full of meaning, purpose, passion, joy, fulfillment, peace? Because those are the things that we want, right? I know that for me, those are the things that I always wanted, was just to feel peace again and to feel joy again and to be happy in life and have meaning and purpose and value. So I want to share with you how I got there, or how I'm getting there, because that's a process, okay? So about a year sober, this is back in 2009, and I'm working as a weekend house manager at a place called the Mont Michel. This was a kind of a high-end sober living, basically, and my shift was Friday evening at 6 p.m., and I would live there until Monday morning at 7 a.m. It was a great place, founded by Dr. Kevin McCauley, Dr. Corey Rich, the Institute of Addiction Study. So I had lots of time to chat with those guys, pick their brains about the disease of addiction, what's going on in life, etc. So one day I'm on shift. I am having a cigarette, actually, out on the back porch, and Dr. Rich came out. He sat down next to me and just started asking me questions, okay? His first question, pretty normal in conversation, he said, "Bryan, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good," normal response, "I'm doing good." He said, "Why are you doing good?" I said, "Well, I'm sober. I haven't been sober for a decade plus. I'm going to meetings, I have a sponsor. I love my job here. I have lots of friends now. I'm not obsessing about using drugs, drinking alcohol. The obsession has been lifted and removed." And he said, "That's amazing. I'm happy for you." And then he started asking me leading questions, which went a little deeper, all right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm just having a smoke, like, I love Corey, but what's he doing here, But he cared about me. He loved me enough to have a conversation this day, and this conversation changed my life. So the leading questions, the first one that he asked was, who is the most important person in your life, Bryan? And I'm like, dude, take it easy with these questions. But what I said was my mom, okay? I was single, didn't have any kids, didn't have a wife, had a lot of friends, loved my family, but my mom popped into my head as the most important person. So I said my mom when he asked me who's the most important person in your life. He said, "That's awesome. I love my mom too. Moms are great, right? When's the last time you called her?" Okay? And I couldn't remember. Okay, so here I am. I'm a year sober. I feel like I've got my life back on track, because in a lot of ways I had, right? With God's help. And his question, when's the last time you called your mom? Okay? Because I identified her as the most important person in my life, okay? Number one. And I couldn't remember the last time that I called her, okay? So he said, "That's interesting." And I'm sitting there like feeling this big, right? But I can tell that he's trying to help me. He said, his next question was, "Who are you?" Okay? Like, who are you? I said, what do you mean? He said, like, who are you? As a man, you're 28 years old, 29 years old. Like, who are you? If I'm asking you, like, who are you as a person? And I was stumbling. I was fumbling around with my words. I didn't know how to answer that question. So I went back to the recovery thing, right? Well, because that's who I thought I was. You know, at the time, like, I'm a man in recovery. I go through the list of things. I go to meetings. I have a sponsor. I have friends. I read the big book. And he's just kind of smiling at me, right? Nodding his head. It's like, those are all amazing things, right? It doesn't really answer my question, though. Okay? Who are you? What do you believe in? He continued on. What do you believe in? What are the values that are most important to you in a man, in life? He said, I'm asking you, what are they? And I was stumbling, I had this kind of maybe overconfident outlook at a year sober of how I thought I was doing. And I was doing well in comparison, right, to the last 12 years of my life was an absolute disaster, right? But I was really struggling with these questions. And he's really good at what he does, okay? Master's level. He has a doctorate in life coaching, marriage and family therapy, individual therapy. Works with, the famous, the successful, people that are living life in abundance and carrying around, confidence and peace and strength. And so I trust this man. And he knows me enough to care about me and want to help me. So again, back to his questions. Who are you? What's most important to you? What are your values? If you could identify, let's say, 3 things, traits, character traits that are most important to you, what are they? It's like, well, sobriety, I said. He said, that's not a character trait. That is a result, right? That's an outcome. So what are the most important character traits to you? My relationship with God. Said, I support that fully, your relationship with your higher power, but that's not a character trait, okay? He said, let's move on. What are the things you do in life that provide you with fulfillment, joy, happiness, sustenance? That one was a little easier for me. An external, I love to go hiking. I love to play golf. I like to write. I love music. I like hanging out with my friends. I like to go to meetings. I love watching the Utah Jazz play basketball. I love watching sports, football, soccer. I love following teams that I'm passionate about. I love to read books. I like to be educated. I like to continue to learn. I like to watch stand-up comedy, right? I like to watch comedians make me laugh. I like to go to concerts and have fun and hear live music. So he said, okay, there we go. So you do have some external outlets that provide you with fulfillment. And that's important to life, right? That's an important aspect of life. It probably won't sustain you long-term in a life of recovery. You're sober and you have external outlets that you can go to. Long-term, meaningful, substantial sobriety, or in other words, recovery, takes an internal awareness and identity of who you are. So he said, I'm going to start something with you. It's called a wellness plan. You can call it whatever you want. But in 10 years, I'm going to have you setting goals towards 60 things, internal and external, that mean the most to you. And I was like, slow down. Okay? 60. All right? He said, here's how we're going to do it, okay? Okay, now we were in his office, all right? Sitting down. I was done with my cigarette break, which I felt ashamed for doing in front of him. Grateful I don't smoke anymore. He said, this is you, all right? This is you, that dot. I don't know if you can see it on video. This is you. This dot. I said, that dot. He said, that dot, but it's not a dot. Okay? That's a seed, all right? Okay? That's a seed. That's you. That's your true self, okay? I said, well, what's my true self? I said, well, people have different opinions about what your true self is, okay? Muji talks about, the philosopher talks about your true self as being the observer of your consciousness. And that's a little deep, I know. But the observer of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. A lot of times we attach what's going on in our head to that's who we are. But what's going on in our head is just a result of how we're living life and the things that we're doing. So the truth is, who we truly are is the observer of those thoughts. Furthermore, who we truly are, back to his question of what internally are the values that are most important to you, okay? That is your true self, okay? So I'm going to draw this as an analogy to maybe help you understand a little bit better. Okay, we're going to use a tree, and we're going to use a root system. And you can do this at home. Take out a piece of paper, scratch pad in your notebook. This is really good for step 10, inventory. Write down, lay it out. If you're creative, you'll like this a little bit more too, because you can see it out on paper in front of you, okay? So every seed, and you can be whatever kind of tree you want to be, by the way. I like aspen trees, I like redwood trees, so I'm going to use an aspen tree, all right? Every tree has a root system. All right, we're going to go with, let's go with 5. Let's try to keep it simple, okay? And a trunk, all right? And I'm not a great artist, you'll see that pretty quick. All right, we're going to try to go for an aspen. Okay, so down here, okay, so at home I want you to just draw a basic system of a tree, all right? Roots, you as the seed, okay? Roots, trunk, branches, okay? Say, well, what about the leaves and the fruit, if it's a fruit tree? We'll get to that, all right? There's a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, all right? It's a fairly new book. It's within the last 3 years. I love it. I think it applies well to, the wellness plan and what we're talking about here. In this link, there'll be references to books that helped kind of lead me to add to this demonstration. We'll post also a YouTube clip, Jordan Peterson, that I think is a great addition to what we're talking about. But James Clear claims there's 3 levels, okay? 3 levels of goal setting or habits, right? Which I think are important. So here they are. Okay, the first level is outcomes, okay? This is where a lot of us get stuck, okay? In life, everybody, right? But speaking to us as addicts in recovery, we want outcomes first, right? That means I don't want to do a ton of work. I don't want to change a whole lot. But I want the fruit. I want the harvest. I want the outcome, okay? How do I get here? As quickly as possible, okay? That doesn't work, okay? So what's the second level? This is our process, all right? What's a process? Well, I'll give you an example of an unhealthy process, okay? Unhealthy process would be evening time, I stay up late, it's 2 in the morning, I've been eating fast food all day, I've drank 3 energy drinks that day, I'm stressed out, I'm anxious, I don't understand why I don't feel that good. I've been scrolling through Tinder, swiping, trying to just hook up with somebody, surface level, which adds to my shame, guilt, not aligned with my true values and my core, right? I wake up late, snooze my alarm 10 times. I wake up not motivated about the day because it's another day and I don't like my job and that's a drag. And man, I did a lot of stuff yesterday that I'm not happy about. I don't feel good, I'm not exercising, I'm eating crappy. Let's get back on, but what do, right? What's your process? A negative process would be you wake up the next day, you grab your phone, and you start scrolling through Tinder, right? You start scrolling through social media trying to get some external validation. You repeat the same process that you did yesterday that gave you results of stress, anxiety, guilt, shame, negativity, all things that you don't want. So why do we do that? We are creatures of habit. Okay, we're either unaware or we're aware. We either have value, meaning, purpose specific to who we are, or we're living life kind of on cruise control, floating through life, taking what comes to us, trapped in our habits, trapped in that loop. And so a process can be either that or it can be helpful. So how do we get a helpful process, right? Well, the most important level, in my opinion, would be this. Identity, all right? This is who you are internally, back to the questions, right? What do I believe in? Who means the most to me? What things bring me light, substance, value in my life, right? This is your identity. It's also your root system, okay? It's right down here. Identity. I'll speak for me personally, all right? I have more than 5, right? But for conversation purposes right now, what are my roots, okay? Relationship with God, okay? And spirit. Family. All right. Recovery. Character traits. Okay, what are character traits? For me, we share a lot of them here at the ranch. Connection, enthusiasm, honesty, service, sacrifice, faith, trust. Okay, those are character traits. For example, right? We all have different ones, but those are mine. Some of them. Let's say hobbies and interests. All right? This could also include, let's say, physical health and mental health. Say, well, Bryan, I'm not mental. Like, yeah, you are. We all are. I've lived with you. Okay? This is your identity, the roots, what stabilizes the tree, right? Which gathers water, which is embedded in the soil. These are the things that drive up, substance to the tree that we all see outside of the ground. The trunk, the branches, and the leaves that are a result of that. Or if it's a fruit tree, the harvest, right? How often does the harvest happen? One time, once a year, okay? So back to outcomes, what are your expectations, okay? The tree harvests once a year, all right? Takes a lot of work to get there. Sun, soil, water, right? Nourishment. So the amazing thing about why I like aspen trees, right? Redwood trees, they link up underground, okay? The root systems intertwine, okay? To provide strength from storms, nature. They also share substance. Okay, they share soil, they share water. They all get the same sunlight, all right? So brotherhood, this alumni, the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, super important, okay? And who are you linking up to, right? Are you linking up to guys who's infected with the beetles, right? With vultures perched on top of the branches? I hope not, right? If you are, find the guys that have root systems that are healthy, that are doing the deal, that are taking action towards their life, right? Because then we have a pretty amazing grove of trees. That is a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. Process, okay, is going to be trunk and branches, okay? What's your process? Is it a good one? This is a good inventory to write. Just like, hey, sitting here, I'm in IOP, I'm looking at this app, Bryan's talking about process, like what's my process? What's my day-to-day ADLs? Like what are the things I'm doing on a daily basis? And are they adding to my life? Or am I on cruise control, stuck in negative habits and processes and taking action towards things that actually make me more stressed out, more anxious, feel more shame, more guilt? Like what's my process right now? Write an inventory about that. Okay? Outcomes, again, would be, how does the tree look, right? Is it healthy? Is it full? Does my tree have, and we can put up a picture maybe of a grove of aspens in the fall, right? Or the towering redwoods on the west coast. What's my tree look like, and how do we get a tree to look healthy? Well, it starts here, okay? Notice how small you are to the process. Tiny, okay? This is not about you anymore. This is about more than you. A lot of times in residential treatment, especially here at the ranch, you hear the term, you're doing this for yourself, you have to do this for yourself, you can't do this for anybody else, okay? I agree with that in part, right? I think it's about a lot more than that. You're a part of it. It's important and it's vital that you have a belief that your sobriety and recovery is for you, by you, because that's who you want to be as a man, right? But it's about more than that, okay? It is about posterity, who you come in contact with, your spouse, wife, mother, father, kids, their kids, your posterity, your grandkids, right? Everybody in the community that benefits from your recovery, right? So it's a good question, like what is my recovery? What is my process? What does it look like? Does it benefit others? The choices that I make on a daily basis, are they providing substance and positivity to my world around me? Okay? It's a good question, right? It's a good question to inventory on. Like what are my processes doing for the world around me? Because it's not about me anymore. I'm a small part. I'm an important part. You're an important part to all of this, right? God oversees all of it. As the seed, like that's kind of where it stops. Who's benefiting from my sobriety and how? Or are they not? Okay? Because if you're still in this track and this process of lying, being lazy, procrastinating, being dishonest, hanging out with people that don't add to your life, chasing or treating men or women like objects, I guarantee you that not many are benefiting from your recovery, all right? So what's your recovery, okay? What are the things you're doing on a daily basis that are adding to your life? Because it's not coming, it's not in the future. It's your recovery and your happiness and your well-being and your peace and joy is not in the future. It will never come. It's right now. It's the things that you're doing on a daily basis, the choices that you're making on a daily basis, because that's who you are as a man. So you got to find out who you are. All right? Why are you sober? Why are you in recovery? Okay? Who benefits from that? Look how many things benefit from the seed. This tree doesn't exist without you as a seed, right? You are the focal point of it. Without healthy roots, without identity, purpose, or meaning, what's the tree look like? It looks barren, right? It's the tree in, Jungle Book, that the vultures are sitting on, just waiting to poach, right? It's a tree that is riddled with beetles that bed inside of the trunk and the bark, lay eggs and spread through the roots and up through the branches and kill the tree. That's a bad process. I don't want that, right? So what does your tree look like and how do we get there? Well, it starts with you learning who you are, what's important to you, who's important to you, right? Now, quickly, branching up from each root. So this root is going to continue on, let's say this branch. We're setting specific goals. If God means a lot to me as a root, He's a core of my tree. How am I cultivating that relationship? Well, I'm going to be praying, I'm going to be talking to Him, meditating, okay? Reading, okay? For me, I attend a religious practice, okay? Okay, maybe you go to the Buddhist temple, the LDS church, some kind of religion. Maybe you don't do anything. You go up into the canyon, you pray, meditate, you go for a hike, whatever works for you is perfect. But this root grows up into a branch. This one does too with family, okay? Who's in my family? Mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, okay? How am I living towards those relationships? Am I cultivating them? Am I watering them? Or are they barren, right? Back to the question from Corey, like your mom means the most, she means the most to you in your life, and you don't remember the last time you called her. Like that doesn't add up, right? That doesn't add up. The people that we identify as meaning the most to us in life, we should be living specifically, intentionally towards that relationship. Call your mom, right? Proactively, call her, okay? Call your wife. Do things for your wife specifically, intentionally. Cultivate the relationship. Make the root strong with goals, right? For each individual. We can't set goals towards the umbrella of family. It's too vague. We have to set goals towards my father, my mother, my brother Jameson, right? My brother Landon, my brother Aaron, my sister Lauren. Now, my wife, Rebecca. Specifically, what's that relationship look like to me? What are the things I'm doing intentionally to cultivate the relationship? Same with my 3 kids, Porter, Logan, and Ryan. Like, what am I doing? Am I waltzing through life on cruise control, or am I intentionally participating in my life? You can go down this list, right? Recovery. If you're at home, on your notebook, right? What are the goals you can set from these root systems into the branches to provide nourishment so that we can live fulfilled, be fulfilled? Now, where does God fit in, right? God is everything. Okay? God is this. God is you. God is this. God is this. God is this. God provides this. This is rain. God provides that. All of this is soil, okay? That is God. So God is everything, all right? If you want to know yourself and get to know yourself, I hope you start to think about how God interacts in your life, because without it, without sun, without water, without soil, without roots, what do we have? We're trying to do this on our own. It doesn't work, right? So, to close, basically, in recovery, early recovery, long-term recovery, I talk to a lot of guys. How you doing? Oh, I'm anxious. I'm stressed out. I'm not having a great day. I'm not having a great week. I haven't had a great month. I've never had a good year, all right? I believe it's because of this. It's a lack of awareness of who you are. Because if you can find out who you are, what drives you, what means a lot to you, your decisions on a daily basis will change. Okay? I don't do that anymore because it doesn't add to my life. I I don't associate with them anymore because it doesn't add fulfillment and light to my life. I don't go over here anymore because it doesn't, Tinder, whatever it is, it doesn't add to my life, okay? If you met your wife on Tinder, I'm sure it's phenomenal and I congratulate you, all right? But I have time. If you guys want to call me, text me. If you want to go deeper, further into this, I would be happy to meet with you on a weekly basis. We'll sit down in the office. We'll chop up the wellness plan. I've had mine for 12 years now. Okay, I set goals towards 42, 43 different things in my life. And that's 12 years into this, all right? If you do this, it will change your life. If you start to think about who you are and what that means to you, really, it will change your life and recovery will become real, right? And you'll be happy, joyous, and free. That's all I got. I love you guys. That's it.